Okay, welcome to the end, the final episode. So we're starting right here at the Enir-Ilim Outer Wall Grace. You immediately turn around, grab a Somber Smithing Stone 9. Okay, nice. Something came up in the first 30 seconds of the video. So yeah, you grab that, you go up these stairs here. Hopefully no more distractions today. And then we got this guy. I don't want to fight him on the stairs. I don't really want to fight him at all, truthfully. That's insane he didn't fall off. Alright, so he's dead. We will go up here, the stairs that it just came from. Couple little hops, and you get a grace. Okay, so we're gonna go upstairs first. Got this little broken staircase here. Somber Smithing Stone 5. And then this probably won't kill me. Nice. Got on this hallway to the southeast. Get a Mesmer Fire Grease. And this lift right here will just take you back down to this big staircase in Ballarat Tower right after the Divine Beast Dancing Lion boss fight, which just completely cements my stance that teleporting here after burning the Sealing Tree was stupid. All of that just to fight one guy and get one smithing stone before we just end up right here anyway. It just doesn't make any sense. But anyways, from this grace, let's go southwest through this exit over here. Go up these stairs to find a courtyard. Should be a corpse over here on the right with more garbage. Insane loot for the last dungeon, by the way. And here there's a guy right off to the right. Clear these guys out. We're gonna hop over this branch. These stairs, one more enemy guarding a rune arc. And then we're gonna drop down and take out all these guys. And try to... This big guy over here kind of wanders around the courtyard, but if you can do this while he's not over here, that would definitely be ideal. Hey, regarding some budding horns, and then we'll just keep clearing out this courtyard here. Nice. These are all the same enemies that, I actually don't remember his name at all, but the boss, right before we got to Abyssal Woods, Wizard something, Jorah maybe? Does that sound right? Get a revered Spirit Ash there. But yeah, the phantoms he was summoning, so the moveset here should look pretty familiar. Anyways, let's go down these stairs here to the east. Some white flesh mushrooms. I feel like I missed an item here, yes. And beast bones. And you can climb up here to get that next item you can see. There's a guy. There you are. Always jumps out at me when I pop down. I never like take the time to find where he is to begin with. Another little ambush here. Let's group these guys all up. There we go. Another 2 revered Spirit Ashes. And then we can head back upstairs. And we'll just keep running until you see a lightning horned warrior just with too much sauce. Look at this guy. Oh! Ran out of stamina and paid the ultimate price. Complete embarrassment. Wouldn't it be funny if you died to a measly little lightning bolt after all that? Aw, so sad. Okay, so once he's dead, we're actually going to backtrack slightly over to right here. Backtrack if you didn't fall off the ledge like I did at least. We're calling finger remedies here, and then we'll follow this branch over here to the left. Spira or Spira. Oh, nice. Fire alarm. Interruption number 2. Okay, well, I'll see you guys after my apartment burns down. Alright, we are back in the smoldering remains of my room. Just kidding, everything was fine. But we're gonna climb back up this tree, get back on this main path here. Grab this Dragon Bolt grease here. And we're going to keep running up the stairs and take out this first caster here. And we'll jump up to the southwest platform here on the left. Grab some drawstring golden grease. And then if you're patient, this enemy on the stairs will make his way down to you. You can also try to kill the guy up top to make your life easier, but not too hard to run by. Should keep going. Yeah, I'm not feeling patient, actually, I've decided, so we'll just run. The guy up top is going to spam Spire, which is super annoying. And you just want to get to this doorway here, and then you're pretty much safe. Heal up, grab Shadow Tree Fragment, touch the final Miquella's Cross, and get the Grace. I would not recommend resting yet unless you absolutely have to, but if you do, you should be able to hit Blessing level 19 now. We're just going to go back down these stairs we just climbed though. If you do have to rest, it's not a big deal at all. It's like one more enemy you have to kill there, maybe two. Grab the Inquisitor Ashes, and then we're going to go out here and look down at that staircase and just jump straight to it. Land next to some fireproof pickled liver. And then look over the edge here and carefully drop down. And again onto this ledge. I'm going to go straight across here. Watch out for this little gap here. You want to jump across that. Holy proof pickled liver. And then this time you can fall straight through. To get a couple smithing stone 8s. And then we'll take this and wrap all the way around the edge here. So you can jump to this next tower. Just like that. And then go up a little bit. Get some Lord Sworn's bolts. Drop straight down here. Deal with this guy. And behind this little goblet thing, you got a Somber Smithing Stone 5. Go down the stairs here for Fireproof Pickled Liver. For being the last dungeon, the loot is just insanely bad. It's kind of an issue to the whole DLC, honestly, but this is crazy. We're gonna make a running jump to this window here. It looks very hard to do, but I've never missed it. It seems pretty forgiving. And then you jump down in here. There's gonna be a scorpion right above us. Get outside. Deal with that. Shadow Tree fragment. I feel like this is just a shortcut back. Double check. Yeah, okay. We're good. So we'll ignore that for now and just go down this way instead to the southeast and take this lift. Outside, straight ahead, should find some more stairs leading to a room with a few Inquisitors. Little overkill there, but, you know. And then the next one leads to a Horned Warrior, which I would just honestly ignore if I were you. Not really worth the trouble. Just hop over this railing onto another staircase and down another lift. Straight outside of the west, cross this bridge. Also, I don't know if you've noticed, but we're like back in like proper Ballarat Tower now. Over there is where we fought the... It's called Ulcerated Tree Spirit. And down here. It's kind of cool. You can crack open this door here and find Euphoria, a legendary twin blade. This weapon's pretty cool. It charges up by dealing damage quickly, so if you land multiple hits within 10 seconds, it'll start dealing more holy damage, and it also has this cool Ash of War where you spin the weapon. I don't have the stats for it, do I? Oh, I do actually. So yeah, I mean obviously attacks pretty fast, and then as you actually deal damage with that, it'll charge up, do more holy damage, and then the Ash of War, spin, and if the weapon is charged, it'll also shoot a beam of light straight in front of it when you spin it. If the weapon is fully charged, it'll spin longer, which means more hits with the spin, and it also shoots a bigger beam of light. It's pretty fun. And I also remember people finding this in like the game files. There's like a deleted weapon in the base game that people data mined. I'm pretty sure it was like called the Abundance and Decay Twin Blade or something. But lots of like theories about Miquella when that was discovered, I remember. With that though, we're done down here, so warp all the way back to Spiral Rise. And we are going, well, we can rest now actually and get that upgrade. And then we'll go up the stairs here. So you can hop out a window. Lets you get behind that caster we couldn't reach earlier. Follow this rooftop around a bit to get to some grave birds. I wish you'd stop doing that, truly. How? Stamina, nice. Okay. Got some more up here. Just one off to the right. Pull it around the corner. LOS that ranged attack from the one in the back. He's coming up to us now. Okay. Okay, relax, relax. Beat that guy. So once they're dead, we'll hop up here to the right. Get a couple more smithing stone 8s. And we got one more bird around the corner here. And an Inquisitor. And inside here behind them, find another Revered Spirit Ash. Which should be the last one, actually, yeah. So, once you go get back to a Grace, we can trade that in. Now, over here to the right, if we were to jump over these stairs, or over this railing onto the next staircase, we can take a little detour for some more loot, but I want to show you this route to get to an enemy up ahead, just in case it kills you, so you don't have to run through all that again. So we go up here, and immediately cut right into this room. Or another Shadow Tree fragment, and if you look outside, you will see a Horned Warrior. This one uses ice attacks, so it's really easy to get frostbitten here. You cannot backstab it, but if you wait a second, it should wander off to a place that you can at least sneak up on it to hit it with a charged heavy or something strong. So we will do that. I think it walks over here and then like turns around, but you can still get behind it. Just like that. You should be able to kind of unload on it here for a second, because it always does that starting animation where it buffs itself. Come on. Oh, there's 1 HP left. Alright, so in this back left corner of the roof, find some sun-warped stones. And he drops his armor. Oh, sick. I don't think I've ever gotten that to drop. It's dope. But we've come this far. Have to stick with the drip. So what was I gonna do? Yeah, we'll go back to that other route. We hop over the stairs. But like I said, we will... Well, I didn't explain this before, but this other route will bring us to that encounter with that enemy. So like I was saying, in case you die, you can just run up these stairs and get to him that way. To try the fight again, so you don't have to run this whole side route a second time. We'll grab Silver Horn Tender there. Run into this room. Horned Warrior Ashes. Some boluses. Come up here. Check by the broken railing for a golden horn tender, and then climb up the next ladder. And this will just take you to some high ground right behind where that guy spawns, so there you go. Whichever way you want to do that, feel free. Or just ignore him entirely. Would not judge you. So we're going to hop in here, grab the side and be careful, the stairs are out there. And then we'll go up, and there's a guy, usually there's an enemy that goes up on that lift, and I lied, we're actually going to come down here first. Make a running jump over here to this middle platform. To get the Gravebird Helm, and then another jump over to the stairs, and just walk down these, watch out for that gap there, until you can safely hop this little floor in the middle. And then we will pull this lever, which again might bring an enemy down. While you're waiting for that, just come down here to the northeast. Should be a Curse Blade in this room. He's outside. He's outside. Infinite stamina is quite literally still not enough to fight these guys. But I think that's the last one you should ever have to fight, thankfully. So you play the DLC again, but... Grab a Somber Ancient Dragon Smithing Stone there, and then... backtrack to that lift. There you are. And just for reference, this is the staircase that we decided to go down and make that jump from. That platform down there, hop through that window. So if you didn't want to go down there and get the Somber Ancient Dragon Smithing Stone for some reason, you can just climb up the stairs and you'll be right here. So up ahead is a very large staircase that leads to another Horned Warrior fight. This one will have wind powers, but if you can get behind it, there's a Site of Grace, so I'd recommend just running past it. This guy's genuinely a problem though. Try to use the cover over here to not get hit by this tornado, or just roll through it if you're a brave soul like me. Okay, cool. And then yeah, just try to run past him and not, like, hope he doesn't start spamming wind powers like that. My god. Please, 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 please. Alright, we're safe. So, you can max out your Revered Spirit Ash Blessing. And then grab the last Shadow Tree Fragment. 50 out of 50. And we can rest again. And also max out our Shadow Tree Blessing levels. So I've mentioned this before, but in case you forgot or missed it or skipped an episode, shame on you. Just kidding. But you, do keep these in between new game cycles. So if you just want to rush straight to the DLC in your next playthrough, in your next new game cycle, you can just do that, and you won't have to run around and collect all the Shadow Tree fragments again, which is pretty nice. So now that we have that grace to come back to, we do actually want to go outside and kill this guy, because it will drop the Horned Warrior's Greatsword. Kinda feeling maybe this setup for this fight. I'm summoning, dude. F this guy. Excuse my language. No, my life is over. Look at him, dude. Like, why? Why does he do that? Trained you. It's crazy. I'm out here two-shotting him, and I'm just complaining about how OP he is. It's crazy, too. Alright, so we're back to Cleansing Chamber and Cleansing... I missed the name, guys. I'm gonna have to check again. Cleansing Chamber Anteroom? It's not a word. Okay, so now, after he's dead, you want to rest up if you need to, and go up the next set of stairs to get to the Letta and Friends fight. She's got some dialogue for us.
It was never kindly, Miquella, was it? The Erdtree was leading you all along, so that you might ascend to lordship. Why come to these lands to begin with? I suppose it must be what His Eminence, or perhaps the Erdtree, desired all along. The clashing of the favored lords, such that one would prevail. So be it. If you insist upon facing Miquella the Kind, then I will run you through whoever you might be. Don't tarry now.
Okay, so the specifics of this fight can vary a lot depending on what choices you made and which NPC quests you did throughout the DLC. But it's going to be you and your allies, if you have any, versus Letta and her allies. Your allies include Sir Ansbach, if you have been doing his quest and didn't help Letta kill him earlier, as well as Tiolier if you did his quest. If Sir Ansbach is dead, you should have the option of summoning just a basic Sanguine Noble in his place. Those are the guys that are kind of posted up in Mohg's palace. But you will be fighting against somewhere between 2 and 5 enemies. Once again, depending on your choices so far, that's what's going to determine how this fight looks. You will always fight Letta, and you will always fight Dryleaf Dane. Those are the 2 minimum. There's no way around either of those. They can also be reinforced by Redmane Freya if you gave her the letter for Freya back in Shadow Keep, Hornsent if you did not summon him to fight Mesmer or didn't talk to him after the Mesmer fight, and Sir Moore if you told him to put it behind him after Miquella's Great Rune breaks and he's all sad. Also, I feel like it goes without saying, but obviously if you just killed any of those NPCs earlier in the game, then they won't be here. If you've been following the guide exactly as I have and have the exact same situation and circumstances as I do here, then we will be able to summon Ansbach and Tiolier. We told Moore to put it behind him, so he's going to be here fighting against us. We summoned and spoke to Hornsent after Mesmer and then killed him later, so he's not going to be here. And then we gave Freya the letter from Ansbach, so she is also going to be here fighting us, which is the saddest one in my opinion. We love Freya. But we're looking at Letta, Dane, Moore, and Freya versus me, Ansbach, and Tiolier. It's a 3v4. There's simply no shot they're beating us with that bum-ass team. The enemies are going to spawn in one at a time, starting with Letta's allies, and Letta herself is always going to join last. A new one will spawn when the previous one reaches around half health. So if you're quick and can keep them stun locked, you can definitely kill each one before the next one gets to you, and you'll only ever have to deal with 1v1s or 2 or 3v1s, I guess, if you summon help. Each individual enemy is pretty simple. They do have quite a bit of health, I'm not going to lie. They're pretty beefy for NPCs, but a few things to mention come to mind. We fought Dryleaf Dane earlier in the game, so you know what he does. He's just punching and kicking you. Freya likes to spam Savage Lion's Claw, which is just a series of hard-hitting front flips that she can chain together since it's Savage Lion's Claw and not regular Lion's Claw. Pretty easy to see coming and pretty easy to dodge unless you're focused on someone else. Moore only has a shield and he fat rolls, so not a huge threat, but he can throw hefty throwing pots from range and inflict you with Scarlet Rot. Luckily, they're pretty easy to dodge, unless you're focused on someone else. And Hornsent has dual curved swords that build up bleed, and he has a very long range charge or dash that he can use to close the distance on you, and then spam a bunch of super fast slashes, but he might as well be wearing Burger King napkins for armor. He's very easy to stagger. Letta is the toughest one, I think. Her sword does some holy damage, and she can summon some homing projectiles, which you did see if you, I guess whether you fought her or not in Shadowkeep, because if you're watching my Shadowkeep video, I fought her, so you saw her like sword zails converge on one target in the middle. So in case you're not seeing a pattern here, you want to try your best to kill each one as fast as possible to keep the numbers advantage, because each one has at least one super annoying attack that's only going to be a problem if you don't see it coming. I think that's it. Yeah, but jokes aside, I love this fight. It's so sad hearing the dialogue from all these characters during the fight. It's just an absolute bloodbath. Fighting on white sand, or maybe it's supposed to be ash or whatever, also lets you see all the blood splatters from the fight. The soundtrack is also peak. It's great. As you saw there, I summoned those guys. There's a little dialogue option that says they'll pop in when the time is right, so I have to wait a little bit. But I genuinely would recommend like dying a few times in this fight to make sure you hear all the dialogue and interactions between each of the NPCs. Like Ansbach talking to Freya, for example. It's really good.
Dryleaf Dane and our allies will never allow this.
I'm bringing the bird. So we got Freya first. She got like a shield charge too. Oh, there's more already. And they can heal as well. Unfortunate. I was not expecting more so soon. Knocked my bird out of the air. That's why I hate more. So if we keep him close, he shouldn't spam the pots at us at least. You can throw them other people. Ansbach is in here now. Keep an eye on Moore's health. Now Dryleaf Dane is in here. And Letta's in here now too. But yeah, like you saw, I killed Freya before Ansbach even had a chance to get in here, so you didn't get a chance to hear him and her talk. Tiolier showed up too. Now we're just absolutely jumping Letta. Yeah. Eat dirt. So, get Letta's sword there. Awkward silence. See all the blood everywhere? It's crazy. I made short work of that too. It can get a lot messier. But once you get back to your world, all these guys will be scattered around dead. Get Mor's bell bearing, his shield, and armor. Same stuff you would have gotten if you killed him earlier. Frey's great sword and her armor. And Dane's footwork. And we also, I'm 90% sure, yeah, we picked up the Golden Lion shield, Frey's shield, earlier when we gave her the letter. If you didn't give her the letter, make sure you go back and go to where she was in Shadow Keep. I believe it's like 7th floor storehouse is the name of the grace. Storehouse 7th floor, maybe it's 5th floor, I don't know. There's a grace in her room, so you'll figure it out. But you will find the shield there now that this fight is over. If you didn't give her the letter and make her move on to come to this fight, participate in it. Get Letta's armor here, and then everything that's not the chest piece, like the gauntlets, helmet, boots, all that stuff, is just the Oathkeeper set, which we picked up a very long time ago. Where is it? There you go. Okay, let me start over. Oathseeker Night Helm. And you get that, if you're wondering, from Church of Benediction. What's it called? Little cliff right outside of it. So, there you go. Go up these stairs to the north. Up the lift. Speak to Sir Ansbach one last time. Ask about Tiolier. I assume this dialogue option is only there if Tiolier was in the fight with you, since he's referencing Tiolier being that guy after he fought with him. You can ask about Mohg's death too. Tell him that it was you who killed Mohg.
Something you want to get off your chest? Well, you needn't worry. It was you, wasn't it? Who defeated Lord Mohg. Fear not. I bear no grudge against you. His Eminence was felled in an honorable duel. And such are the risks of seeking lordship. Besides, what right have I to complain? I blame the enchantment more than anything. Righteous tarnished, we will have our victory. I swear upon my blood. Righteous, I swear.
Alright. I really like that dialogue, so wanted to listen to it. But climb up the stairs and we will find the Divine Gate front staircase grace. Rest up, level up, and get ready for a war. So this is going to be my build going into the final boss fight here. 228s. I guess... Let's pop some runes. I don't want to go in here with 200,000. That's a little silly. Alright, make that 229. So we got 80 vigor, entirely too much. Not a whole lot of mind. I'm working on it. Not the sharpest tool in the shed. 32 endurance for some stamina, because Millennia's waterfowl dance just eats through it like crazy. And to be able to wear the armor and everything and still be able to at least medium roll. Not too much strength. Noodle arms, you know how it is. 80 dexterity. 60 faith, 9 intelligence, 8 arcane, not really using those. But yeah, there you go. And then got been alternating between Hand of Millennia and Lightning Uchi Katana with these talismans. Dragon Crest Greatest Shield for extra physical damage negation. Two-headed Turtle Talisman for extra stamina recovery speed. Shard of Alexander for extra damage on my Ash of War. And then depending on if I'm using a Wing Stance with Milady, I'll use Rolana's Cameo, or if I'm using the dual katanas we use Rotten Wing Sword Insignia for increased attack power with successive attacks. So, which I might run that in this fight, to be honest with you. We'll do that. We'll do, instead of Shard of Alexander, because there's no way I'm getting Waterfowl Dance off in this fight, I would actually recommend a very slept-on talisman, I think. The Crimson Seed Talisman +1 in this fight. Greatly boosts HP restoration from Flask of Crimson Tears. If you have a talisman slot to spare, this is really just going to make it so instead of needing to, especially if you have like a high vigor level, 60 to 80 like I do, instead of having to waste 2 flasks every time you get hit super hard, or to top off your health, you can really get away with 1 a lot of the times. It's very, very nice. It significantly increases how much you heal with a flask. So, anyways, that's the build I'm going with. As for the fight, if you had Sir Ansbach and Tiolier available for the previous fight, that means you've done all the steps required to have them available for this fight. So once again, we've got Tiolier and Sir Ansbach. I can't remember, if someone could confirm in the comments for me, I'd appreciate it. If Sir Ansbach isn't here, if a Sanguine Noble will show up for this fight, I don't think they will. I think that's mostly a thing in the last fight, just so you're not hopelessly outnumbered. But, yeah, someone let me know if you don't have Sir Ansbach here. You do not have to summon them to get rewards from their questlines after this boss. You're good, you've done enough. But you are more than welcome to summon them. Just know that each one, since they are outside of the boss fog, will increase the boss's health by 50% each, so summoning them is not really recommended. However, I know this is actually a super hot take, but I don't think it's the worst idea in the world if they synergize with your build. For instance, if you're running Bleed, bringing Sir Ansbach could just mean more bleed procs, especially, you know, some extra bleed build up while you can't actually hit the boss while it's focused on him, which might offset the extra health that the boss gets. Same with Tiolier. If you can keep him alive and let him keep proccing poison, it could be worth bringing one of them in theory, but you'll have to gauge how much they're actually helping you for your own build and situation. Now, there are tons of strats for this boss all over the internet, way too many to put in one video, and really my main goal with this walkthrough is to show you how to do everything, not necessarily how to kill every single boss. But the consensus is that this boss is very difficult and not in a particularly fun way. I think calling him the worst boss FromSoft has ever made is a stretch for sure, but difficulty aside, I don't think it's a great boss. There are some pretty objective problems with it, which I won't get into here. It's not what this video is about. But before we go on, I do want to reference something that the creator of the game, Miyazaki, has said. In an interview, they were discussing the difficulty of this DLC. He said, I quote, "We've really pushed the envelope in terms of what we think can be withstood by the player." So essentially saying that they're purposely trying to focus on difficulty, right? And while this fight is definitely difficult, I think increasing the difficulty slider did mean compromising on some other things like fairness, quality, polish, and just overall fun. There are just lots of weird animations in this fight that don't really make sense, don't make the fight any cooler, but definitely make it more challenging. He also dropped this quote in an interview not too long ago. He said, "I want to preface this by saying I absolutely suck at video games, so my approach or playstyle was to use everything I have at my disposal, all the assistance, every scrap of aid that the game offers, and also all the knowledge that I have as the architect of the game." Essentially saying that he himself, the creator of these games, uses every last possible bit of help the game gives you to get through it, which means he's definitely summoning. With that in mind, I would definitely encourage you to use anything and everything at your disposal to take this boss down. Like any other fight in the game, with enough practice, you absolutely can no-hit it at rune level 1, and that's going to take a while to learn. But frankly, just beating this fight with any playstyle you want just by throwing yourself at the boss a few times like you usually can is probably not going to be realistic for a lot of people unless you want to put in the time to really master it, which, again, you can if that's what you want to do. Just know that this boss is kind of a cut above the rest in terms of difficulty. You heard from the man himself, this fight is pretty much designed to be the limit of what they think the average player can withstand. So adding your own self-imposed difficulty on top of that by not using Spirit Ashes or not using status effects or anything like that is going to make this pretty tough. It's not meant to be a fair fight, it's meant to be a hard fight, so you might as well treat it that way. That being said, if you guys haven't fought this boss before and waited for me to get here in the walkthrough, you are in luck, because he did get some nerfs and it slowed down at least for sure one of his most unfair attacks and made it much more reliable and, I'm just going to say, possible to dodge, among other quality of life changes. So maybe this won't be too bad for you. I've fought it once since the nerfs and I have to say it does feel significantly easier, but I also did beat it several times pre-nerf, so I obviously have practiced it before. But hopefully this won't be too bad for you after they've adjusted some things. The fight does feel a lot more fair now. But for strength builds, using a great shield is a very effective strategy in this fight. There are a handful of attacks that are pretty easy to dodge, but there are just as many that have pretty tricky timing, and being able to just shut them down with a shield is really nice. One really effective strategy that I've found success with is crafting different types of hefty throwing pots and putting them on my hotbar so that my mimic tier can use them. Any of them will work, but Scarlet Rot is especially nice for some constant damage throughout the fight. Editing this part since I misspoke in the original recording, but the boss is weakest to Scarlet Rot in phase 1. It only takes one hefty rot pot, one hefty rot pot to proc Scarlet Rot. But in phase 2, the resistance seems to get bumped up to match every other status effect resistance, which is pretty high across the board. Aside from phase 1, it seems like it takes 2 hefty pots to trigger any status effect, but your Mimic tier has as many as you have on your hotbar. So if you have 3 equipped in your hotbar, your Mimic tier can throw up to 3 in that fight. So as long as you're not throwing them yourself, you can sort of just have your Mimic tier keep throwing them on every attempt, and you'll never actually have to craft anymore. So that can be a really good strategy. You distract the boss, Mimic tier throws some hefty rot pots, the boss gets inflicted with Scarlet Rot, takes tons of damage. It does get cleansed between the phases, so like I said, you only need 1 to trigger in phase 1, but if it gets to phase 2, it's going to go away and you're going to need 2 more to trigger it again. So that's why I like to kind of just not throw them myself and leave them for the Mimic tier if I'm going with a strategy like this. With that in mind, I'd probably pick 1, maybe 2 pots to focus on, with one of those definitely being a Scarlet Rot pot. If you have a bleed build going, then maybe add a hefty fly pot for more bleed procs, or you could go for hefty freezing pots instead so you don't proc bleed too often and bump up the boss's bleed resistance too much. But with such a massive health pool, status effects are going to be the best option for most players, I think, to kind of level the playing field here. Another really effective strategy is parrying. Obviously, that's going to take some practice to get the timings down. A lot of his melee attacks can be parried, though, but it does take 3 parries before you have an opportunity for a crit, so again, it's going to take some practice for that strategy to actually pay off. You gotta land 3 in a row to get anything out of it, but if you build into crits, you can easily crit 5,000 plus damage. It's kind of crazy. Speaking of things that hit hard, it seems like his holy resistance is really low in phase 1 because I was able to get some really nice damage with Sacred Blade in the past, but that goes away in phase 2. Every other element just basically sucks for the entire fight, and then holy also sucks in phase 2. He just has a ton of health and a lot of resistances and doesn't take very much damage, but at the end of the day, do whatever is the most satisfying for you. If you've never killed this boss before, I'm kind of the opinion that you can save your no summons, beat him the old-fashioned way, run for another playthrough, and instead for now just get through it by any means necessary so you can get on to New Game Plus or whatever your next cycle is and play around with all the new stuff you found in the DLC and actually have fun instead of just bashing your head against the wall trying to beat this boss for the next few hours or days. I'll try to break down some of the moves here that are especially tough to dodge so anyone can apply these tactics, but really I'm just going to recommend leaning into whatever strat works the best for you and your build here. If you really want to learn how to perfectly dodge every attack and no-hit this boss, look up a separate video for that. I'm sure you'll find plenty. And if you want to go for a blocking strat, look up a video for that, and so on. But like I said, there are way too many ways to approach this fight to show everything in this video. That being said, if you're struggling, feel free to leave a comment with your build and I might be able to recommend something you could add or change to make the fight a little easier. Also in phase 2, there's going to be a grab attack which will put a charm on you. If you, let's see, where is this? Probably key items, right? Oh, it's right there. Miquella's Great Rune. So yeah, if you get grabbed in phase 2, it's going to put a charm on you. If you get grabbed a second time in the same fight, it's going to instantly kill you. If you killed the Shadow Sunflower boss and got Miquella's Great Rune here, you can keep this on your hotbar and use it to dispel the charm if you did get grabbed, which will prevent the follow-up from killing you. I'm just going to be perfectly honest though, unless you just don't mind having an extra item on your hotbar, I feel like it's not even worth having it here. The odds of the grab being the thing that kills you out of all the insane attacks in this fight, I just feel like are pretty slim. Of course, it all comes down to the individual, but the grab is just stupid easy to dodge compared to basically every other attack in Radahn's arsenal, I think. And you would have to get hit by it twice, so there's that. Now, when you enter the fight, this might not be true anymore. I haven't spent I've only fought him once since they nerfed him. But if you plan to summon, the strat before was just wait a half second to see if he starts the fight with like a gravity dive bomb corkscrew attack thing, kind of like what Commander Gaius does in his fight. If he does start with that fight, you have to prioritize dodging that and then look for a window to summon afterwards. Otherwise, it's just going to hit you right away and you're going to be backed into the corner and probably die in the first 2 seconds. So if he hesitates, though, go ahead and summon. But I think that might be something that they also slowed down with the nerfs. Don't quote me on that. Like I said, I haven't fought him much since that patch went live. But with that, I think we're ready to go. You can also stance break him, so Stone Barb Cracks here could be the move here. But let's get to it. And we're just going to pause that right there. So I ran the fight a couple of times and I kind of changed my mind about how I want to approach this. I don't think live commentary is really the play here. So instead, I am going to just play you guys a clip of the entire fight and commentate over afterwards and just tell you what's going through my mind to be able to pause it and just break down the fight that way. I think that's going to work a lot better. Also, real quick, while I'm here, one other thing I forgot to mention that's very important. In the second phase of the fight, you are going to just get absolutely blasted with holy damage. So instead of the Dragon Crest Great Shield Talisman or any other damage negation talisman you might be running, you might end up wanting to switch to the Golden Braid, especially just the way this fight works. Phase 2 is basically just phase 1 plus a bunch of extra holy damage, and the holy damage is like separate from the actual melee swings from the boss. So by the time you've mastered phase 1, you should, in theory, be able to dodge the melee attacks in phase 2, but the holy damage might still hit you since that's like a separate stage of the attack. So you might find that you're actually taking almost no physical damage anyway, and you're just getting obliterated by the holy damage in phase 2, so consider the Golden Braid as well. I also swapped away from the Crimson Seed Talisman at some point. I'm not sure if the attempt I'll show you will be with that or Rolana's Cameo, or with this or Golden Braid, but those are all the talismans I'm considering using. It might be some combination of those, but just so you know. Well, with that, let's go ahead and play this boss attempt, and again, I'm going to commentate over it, and then afterwards I'll just show you the full unedited kill, so I'm not pausing and everything, and you can see that. Okay, so Radahn can do any number of things when you walk in, but you should be most prepared for either his gravitational pull or the gravity corkscrew, especially if you stay near the fog and spend some time trying to summon. You can roll forward through the gravity pull, but if it hits you, it's very easy to deal with. You'll watch me get hit by it here. You just run straight backwards and jump as you see him hit the ground to avoid the spikes. Next, he's going to follow up with the corkscrew. Very, very easy to just roll through, and this is one of my 3 favorite attacks to punish, so keep this one in mind throughout the entire fight. You'll see I pretty much always have time for a full charged wing stance Ash of War after this attack. And another one of my favorites, the second of the 3 to actually get an attack window, is this combo where he ends with this Earthquake move. Again, pretty reliably able to get a full Ash of War off here. Now you do want to get into a habit of rolling into him through the actual Earth Shatter at the end, because in phase 2 you won't be able to get away with just being behind him for this move. You see here, I did this wrong. I just rolled into the open space behind him. That's not going to work in phase 2. Phase 1 is really about building good habits that will transfer into phase 2, because phase 2 is really the same attacks, but they're all harder to see, and they're much more strict in punishing with your positioning and which direction you have to dodge. But again, you see here, even though I kind of did it wrong, I can get away with it in phase 1, and I have plenty of time to punish this with an Ash of War. Now I got this flip. He can chain this into a second one if he wants to, so go for a quick light attack at most, just in case he flips again. You'll see here, I went for 2 swings because he would have done the second flip by the time I whiffed the first swing, so at that point I knew I was safe. And here is the third punish window, this double slash at the end of this 3-hit combo. There's some like weird artifacting going on, I apologize, but I'll play again the whole unedited fight at the end of this. But he does have a double slash where he just stands there and does this double slash. That's not the one we want. This one has a longer recovery for him afterwards. We're specifically looking for this 3-hit combo where he slashes side to side and then the double one up ahead. And you're going to see here, once again, I have time for an entire charged Ash of War wing stance here. Now we got this Blood Flame attack. So that forward poke in the Blood Flame takes 2 to 3 rolls to dodge depending on how it goes for you. You're going to need to first roll through the forward stab, like so, and then he's going to do the slash where he actually like summons the Blood Flame. We roll through that, and then if you're able to actually get behind him off that second roll like I did, it is a pretty good punish opportunity, but the tracking on his slash is so strong that he often just pushes you out of the way and kind of like forward back into the explosion, so you won't be able to get behind him, in which case, just to be safe, you should roll a third time to avoid this follow-up explosion from the Blood Flame that you see right there. If you get hit by the initial poke or the slash, just be aware that the Blood Flame will explode because you might not be able to see it very well with the camera depending on where you end up. Now in general, you want to be dodging either straight at him or slightly to the left. Basically always shoot for somewhere in like the 10 to 12 o'clock range. Try not to go too hard with rolling straight left, because then if he slashes from right to left, you'll be rolling directly away from his swing and kind of with it instead of through it, so it's going to be harder to dodge. The reason I'm saying this is because it's a habit you want to build for phase 2, and you'll see why here in a second. Can you get away with circling to the right instead in phase 1? Absolutely you can. But in phase 2, that's typically going to get you punished as well rolling backwards. So forward and to the left is really what you want to be doing. Earth Shatter again, we punish this with an Ash of War, and now we're on to phase 2. So you're going to have a second to heal here at the beginning of phase 2 after the cutscene every single time, and he's usually going to start phase 2 with this move where he floats up, spawns a ring of light under you, and you just want to pick a direction and run. Once you're out of the initial blast, you're usually safe to turn around and close the distance again, but he doesn't always start with this move. It's like an 8 or 9 times out of 10 thing, so just always stay on your toes. If you run straight at him right away, he's much more likely to pull out another move, which could be literally anything in his very expansive arsenal. So I like to just kind of stay back and back away slightly to make the Ring of Light more likely, because, you know, even though obviously you can't really punish him after the Ring of Light attack very easily there, it at least is like not going to catch me off guard if I see that. That's the attack I'm expecting him to start with, so if I can bait it out, that's good for me. Now you see he's going for the corkscrew attack. We're using those same big 3 punish windows in phase 2, corkscrew, the 3-hit combo with the double slash at the end, and the long combo that ends with the Earth Shatter. All 3 of those still apply in phase 2. And here, right after this, you're going to immediately see the problem with phase 2. You're getting flashbanged after every swing. Between that and Rapunzel up on Radahn's back, you just can't see anything. But the good news is that all these melee combos are exactly the same as phase 1, so you just have to trust your instincts. But if you get hit, you always get pushed backward just a little bit, which pretty much guarantees you get hit by the follow-up beam of light, so dodging backwards is just an absolute no-go in phase 2. You'll notice a lot of the time that the light is either behind us or to our right though, which is why I told you before to try to build that habit of dodging forward and left. Okay, so now you have this attack where he starts glowing and you're going to hear like a humming sound. He's basically just charging up this dash where him and a bunch of clones all kind of dash at the exact same time. And I'm able to avoid it pretty much just by panic rolling every time, honestly. There's a follow-up light beam spam afterwards, but if you didn't get hit by the initial dash, then that shouldn't really hit you either. And then he's far away, so you should be able to get a heal off if you need to. Next, we got this move. I don't know why there's like all these little squares and stuff. the resolution, I don't know, it doesn't matter. Yeah, so next we got this move where he crosses his blade above him and they glow. This is going to be a super long combo with a ton of really fast swings, and it will be pretty hard to see what's going on. But I kid you not, just sticking super close to him and spam rolling works incredibly well for this. The only thing is you need to make sure you ease up on the spam rolling towards the end of the combo so you can make sure that you have a roll available to dodge his final jumping attack, because that one's going to really hurt. There you go, and again, we have an opportunity to heal. Okay, so now we have the phase 2 meteor attack. I'll show you another attempt after this where he actually does this move in phase 1. He usually does, but he didn't on this attempt. So just bear with me for a second. But you start by dodging this the same way that you would in phase 1. You're just going to roll through this initial takeoff swing, just like that. And then he's going to be floating out in the air. And I'll just let this play out for a second so you can see the whole attack first. Alright, so that's the whole attack, pretty extensive. Now, if I rewind this a little bit, as soon as he's up in the air, you basically just want, or actually not even that, as soon as you roll through this attack here, you just want to turn around and start running directly away from him and try to get as much distance as possible. As the meteors start coming in, you want to start kind of turning to either side, right or left, it doesn't matter, and you want to jump just before they reach you. That's going to avoid the meteors. Same thing for when they happen in phase 1. It looks exactly the same as that, but I'll show that later in the video. Immediately after they land, Radahn will come in with 5 slams. The first 4 are clones and they don't do a lot of damage, but the 5th one is the real one and it hits very hard. If you get far enough away when you run away from the meteors, it's possible that the clones just can't reach you at all, but the 5th one, the real one, has extra range, so you'll always need to roll through the 5th one. I usually just plan on tanking the clone hits pretty much to make sure that I'm ready to roll through the 5th slam, because if it hits you, you're in trouble. The slam is going to hit you, and then he follows that up with the Earth Shatter move you saw and a huge explosion. So you'll notice here, I dodged the slam, but I rolled way too early for the follow-up explosion, and look how hard it hit me. That's a lot of damage right there. I have 80 vigor, I have a ton of health, and that just absolutely chunked my health bar. If you get hit by the slam, usually it stuns me enough that I can't get a roll off for the explosion, which between the 2 attacks, the slam hitting you and the follow-up explosion, that's really enough to pretty much one-shot me. Next we got the grab. Like I said earlier, very telegraphed, not too hard to dodge. If it hits you, it does no damage, but you get charmed. There will be a little floating crown of light above your head. And the next grab is an insta-kill if you don't cleanse the charm with Miquella's Great Rune, like I said earlier. I don't like to punish this though, personally, because it's not a huge window. You could definitely get an attack in here, don't get me wrong. But you end up directly behind him usually, so it's just too hard to see what attack is coming next with all the hair, so I like to just wait and see what happens. I think I go for an attack here, but I shouldn't have. Immediately get hit, right? Next, you're seeing what I was saying earlier, where you get clipped by the sword and it just kind of pushes you back into the light beams. You pretty much just have to keep trying to get back in the sweet spot as close as possible to the boss and rolling forward left. This is the phase 2 version of that Earth Shatter combo that we pointed out earlier. That's one of the great opportunities to punish him after. And we're still going to use it to punish, but here's why I told you to get used to timing a roll through the Earth Shatter and not just standing behind him. Very, very large explosion of light beams, and they all move outwards. It's important to know that they move outward because you'll get hit if you roll backwards trying to avoid them. I get away with rolling to the side here, but forward is definitely best. And now I really need to heal, so I'm taking this extra long punish window to be able to drink not 1, but 2 flasks. And we're right back in the same combos from phase 1. Just don't let the visual clutter throw you off. This time, since I'm good on health, I'll hit a wing stance. Now once you get his health down to around the name, he's going to take off for that classic meteor crash from the original Radahn fight. I pretty much just run to either the left or right side of the arena, whichever one has more space for me to run, and it doesn't hit me, unless I stop to turn and look behind me or something. I try not to run the route between like the entrance, the fog, and the throne that Radahn jumps down from after the cutscene when you first walk in here. I like to go left to right, as you see here. I was using the circle attack again, but this time because of how he's positioned farther away from the circle he's summoning, I can actually run towards him to not only get away from the circle, but also be right next to him for a counterattack as soon as he finishes this. There you go. And then we go for just an absolutely asinine corkscrew attack. I managed to dodge it, but sometimes the boss likes to pull out a move that just makes no sense at all. There's just no way you could see it coming, and the animation looks ridiculous because it's not supposed to be a close range attack. I'll throw another clip right here where he did the meteor attack once. Actually, let me find it right now. So yeah, instead of doing his takeoff from close range, he does it from far away and then floats right above me, so I just cannot see what's happening and just get smashed by everything. Just bad luck, nothing you can really do there, but back to the fight. I think I actually just end up resetting this here because he didn't show off his full arsenal and I didn't want to kill him yet. I'm just going to reset the fight. He didn't do all of his attacks there. There are definitely some more key ones that I want to show you guys, so we'll run that back again. Alright, so here's another attempt. We'll run this back. Starting off with a corkscrew this time, right off the bat. Go ahead and punish that. Trying to roll left here. And then we got the Earth Shatter. We punish that too. And now here's the Phase 1 meteors as promised. So much easier this time. Just roll the initial takeoff and you can just run to one side and jump at the end. Much simpler than Phase 2. Got 2 flips this time. You see I went for a light attack in between them. If I rewind this a little bit. I missed it there. Right, I hit him, but he went for the second flip. The light attack is quick enough that I didn't overcommit and get hit by the second flip. That's the key. Otherwise, you know, the regular just single flip or even the recovery after this one, as you can see, it's pretty long. I went for a heavy attack there. That might have even been a charged heavy attack. But you don't want to commit to doing that after the first flip because the second one comes out super fast. So, you know, you'll just be dead in the water. You're getting hit by the second one. I'm taking some damage here, but I just keep going back into dodge. I'm not falling back to heal. Only heal at the end of a combo when you would normally counterattack. Whoops. I don't know what happened there, but rewinding it just a little bit. Got the Earth Shatter again. We punish that with an Ash of War. Got the double slash, but not the 3-hit combo version. This one doesn't have as long as a recovery, so I didn't wing stance there. Actually, that's another attack I wanted to point out right there. So he's got that double slash from our left, right? And then he stops. But if he wants to, he can follow that up with another pretty much identical double slash from his right side, or his left. It'll come from our right, which is pretty delayed and hits super, super hard. This one's kind of tricky because it's a long combo and it almost looks like the Earth Shatter one until the end when he doesn't do the Earth Shatter. But just be careful with attacking here because he might do that last delayed slash to finish the combo and it's not going to feel good. And there's our 3-hit combo, so we punish with the wing stance, and that's Phase 2. Wait for the lights, start running away. Then we go back in. And we got a corkscrew, so we'll roll through that, punish. He's swinging a lot here, but I'm not seeing any windows I like, so I'm just going for a light attack at most, really just waiting for one of my big 3 moves to punish with a counter. Grab attack, we roll through that. I'm getting hit really hard here, but notice what I do next. I'm rolling straight back into the fray. Alright? Going backwards is the worst thing I can do. I just have to lock in and dodge the next combo to get a chance to heal. And lucky for me, he actually did the 3-hit combo here, which means I have a big window I can easily drink twice. Here's our Earth Shatter combo. Go through that last explosion and punish. Unfortunate delayed swing there, but that's fine. Now we have the long flurry of swings. I'm not doing great on health right now, but again, this one looks a lot scarier than it is. I'm basically just trying to stay as close as possible and make sure that we are not spamming rolls too hard, so we still have one available for dodging the last jump attack at the end of the combo. So we're good, we heal. And then the meteors. We roll the takeoff swing and then start running off to the side, and we actually get far enough away to miss all the clones, so we just have to roll the last one, and then we delay one more roll for the explosion. This is a tricky situation. If I back up just a couple seconds here, I got clipped by the light here because I didn't roll into him. I rolled sideways and kind of away, honestly, and I rolled away because I don't want to be stuck by the wall. We're always trying to roll into and behind the boss, so if the wall's in the way, that's bad. Not only do we have nowhere to go, but the camera's also just going to be a mess, even more so than it usually is in this fight. But, as you'll see here, it's the same old combo we've been seeing the whole fight, so I don't even really need to see what's happening. The timing's the same, it's just a rhythm game at this point. Now, if this was earlier in the fight, I would try to lure him back to the middle, but the health is getting low, so I know he's probably going for the meteor crash soon, so that'll be a good opportunity to reposition. Risky heal there. Blood Flame was probably inches away from hitting me, but I'm the main character, so we're good. Thought he was taking off there for the meteor, but it was actually just the grab, which I narrowly avoided. But even if I didn't, it's fine, because you'd have to hit me with it again for it to kill me, and the fight is getting close to over. End up kind of just working our way back to the middle naturally here, which was lucky. I tried to punish the double slash there, it looks like. Yeah, right here. But this is one of the more annoying things in the fight. See how uneven the terrain is? I think I just got unlucky with being like not only to the side of him that he was swinging from, but also like up on a little hill. So it basically I just had no time to actually dodge. So that's a little unfortunate. And he actually follows it up with the combo I mentioned earlier. Got that double slash right there, and then I don't want to go in for an attack here, because he follows up with one more from the other side. It's a tricky one. I feel like for me that's the combo that always catches me. Meteor crash again, just running to the farthest side of the arena once again. Little AoE thing here. And I actually rolled the gravity pole there, but I need to find a clip to show you guys the phase 2 version of that if you do get clipped by it. It is this clone attack. Now, if you're decently close to him like I was there, this one's super easy to just roll forward through and you just end up behind him. Not bad at all. He does like to start swinging immediately afterwards though, so that's like the main thing to look out for with that one, I think. Meteors again, go through that, start running. And this one I'm for sure outrunning all the clones, but as you see there, the real one can go significantly farther. And then I missed the follow-up swing, but that's alright, as long as you don't get hit by both. Another clone attack here, which you can just roll twice forward to avoid it. And I want to point out that he sometimes does this right after the Ring of Light you see at the beginning of phase 2, but it's slightly different. I'll try to find a clip. Alright, here we go. So he shoots this Ring of Light, and then he goes for the double slash. If you roll through the first ring successfully, it's basically just chaining 3 rolls together as fast as you can to dodge the ring and the 2 clones. Don't overthink this one. I got hit by the ring, which knocked me back slightly, and I didn't actually I literally just didn't roll for the third one for some reason. But If you do get hit, it's kind of just the same problem as the rest of the fight, where getting clipped once can knock you back into the next thing, so just be careful of that. But again, if you can actually roll through that first ring, just keep rolling 2 more times straight at him, and the clone should miss you, and the light beams behind it should also miss you. You see here on this frame that I'm paused on, I'm just too far away from the boss in prime territory to get hit by the light beams, unfortunately. And while we're looking for clips, that gravity pull I mentioned a second ago is actually super easy to dodge as well. If you get pulled in, just treat it like phase 1. See there, I didn't get pulled in. And actually, this is something I didn't mention earlier. Even if you roll through the actual pull, if you're still super close to him, he's still going to follow up with the slam attack and the rock spikes and everything, as if you did get hit by it. So even though I did roll through the actual pull here, he's still going to go through the attack like normal here. So, but again, just treat it like phase 1, run away and jump over the initial rock spikes, and then just keep running backwards. He's going to do these clones, you avoid them all, and then the real one is just going to go in for another slam that's going to summon all the rock spikes. I actually like whiff and mistimed my jump here, and I still had time to recover. But I did get slightly stuck on the wall, so be careful about which way you run. With that though, I'm going to go ahead and play the full kill unedited. Hopefully this has helped you, or the kill that you haven't seen yet helps you. You weren't supposed to see that. But, yeah. Alright, down he goes. So, get the remembrance of a god and a lord, and I have no idea what happened in my notes. I don't remember what I was going to say. It's probably some super sick speech, honestly. You get the let us go together gesture, and then you can touch this memory for a super disappointing cutscene.
Lord brother, I'm going to be a god. If we honor our part of the vow, promise me you'll be my consort. I'll make the world a gentler place.
Alright, and after that you get the Circlet of Light, and also if you died to the grab in the fights, you would have gotten that gesture from that, but if you don't die to the grab, then you get it right there. So, it's Grace nearby, and then go ahead and rest, and whether you summon them or not, you should see Sir Ansbach's and Teolia's corpses over here. From Teolia you get Hidden Needle and his armor set. And from Ansbach, you get his armor sets, the Obsidian Lamina weapon, and Furious Blade of Ansbach incantation. Kind of a shame, I think, that they were obviously designed to be with you up here at the very end, since their corpses are here, which implies that they fight this fight with you. But if they're supposed to help us, then why not just put their summon signs inside the arena? Because, you know, then the boss's health bar wouldn't literally double from summoning them. And it's not like they didn't do that for other massive fights in the DLC, like Mesmer, of course. Still crazy we have to take Hornsent, even though I hate him. But yeah, it's just way too punishing to take them, since Radahn gets so much more health. With them dying in the end, literally fighting the boss, it would have been nice to have a viable way to bring them along for the fight. It would be tough to summon them with how aggressive Radahn is out of the gate, I guess, but FromSoft did, it seems like, nerf him in that respect too, so he doesn't just jump you the second you go through the fog. But, I don't know. With that though, we are done with the DLC. Kind of an underwhelming finale in my opinion, but overall I still think the DLC was pretty amazing, especially the map. Everything just looks super cool. But if you're just here for Elden Ring, that is all I have for you. To finish out this video, I figured I'd talk a little bit about this channel and what I'm going to be doing in the future, so feel free to stick around for a second if you want to hear about that. It's been super fun making these guides. Hope everyone enjoyed them, got some use out of them. I can't say yet exactly what I'll be doing next, but I have quite a few video ideas in my head right now, things that I've just been, you know, thinking would be cool for like the last 2 years while I worked on this guide. Few somewhat big projects, nothing like a 100% Elden Ring walkthrough, but they'll still take a little time to make. I definitely will start to slowly transition away from FromSoft games and make other kinds of content, because this has pretty much been the main focus of this channel for most of its life, and I'm definitely ready for something new. I do of course reserve the right to come back to it at any point though, and I pretty much always play through the Souls games at least once every year. Obviously I've put so much time in these games because I really like them, but the burnout is still very real. We're looking at too much Elden Ring. Way too much time played. It's over 2,000 hours, I think. Yeah, not cool. Like I said when I finished the base game guide, the support on these videos has been insane, and I can't thank everyone enough for that. The channel's creeping up on 20,000 subscribers, which I know isn't much compared to a lot of channels out there, but it's getting to the point that making these videos long term feels less and less like a stupid pipe dream, which is super cool. The exposure I've gotten with these guides has also been great for feedback. It's hard to get feedback as a small creator because you don't really get any comments on your videos. But I've gotten tons of engagement from people recently, and I've gotten a much better feel for not only things that I like and don't like doing in videos, but also what people like to see and what things they think I do well, so that's super helpful to know. For instance, I've definitely decided that I prefer to make videos about a specific topic that I'm actually passionate about instead of just playing games for the sake of playing games and posting the clips. That being said, if you do want to see me just play games and hang out, I do want to stream more now that this project is done and I have some more time. I've been streaming on YouTube lately. I say lately. Lately is in the last time I streamed, but I've been heavily considering moving back to Twitch for a while, and I definitely think that I'm going to give that a shot. So if you really want to make sure you don't miss live streams, probably worth following over there too. The link for my Twitch account is always in the description of these videos. If it's not working for some reason, it's just the Ghost Initiative over on Twitch too. But feel free to leave a comment anywhere about things you want to see on the channel too. I can't make any promises that I'll do it, but if it seems like something I would enjoy making too, then I'm definitely open to suggestions. But with that, thank you to everyone that stuck around and watched these guides, and to anyone that wants to stick around for non-Elden Ring videos in the future. I appreciate you, and I'll see you again soon.